Welcome back to our channel, where we explore fascinating topics that impact our world. Today, we're diving into a topic that's been causing quite a buzz: genetically modified organisms, or GMOs. But before we jump in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update from us. So, what exactly are GMOs, and why are they such a hot topic? Well, stick around because we're about to uncover the science, myths, and real-world implications of genetically modified organisms. Let's start at the very beginning. What are GMOs? Genetically modified organisms are living organisms whose genetic material has been altered in a way that doesn't occur naturally. Scientists use advanced techniques to introduce new genes into an organism, giving it unique characteristics. The primary purpose of genetically modifying organisms is to enhance certain desirable traits. For example, in agriculture, GMO crops are often designed to be resistant to pests, tolerate herbicides, or have improved nutritional profiles. This can lead to increased crop yields, reduced pesticide use, and improved food production efficiency. GMOs have been a subject of debate and controversy. Critics have raised concerns about their potential environmental impact, effects on human health, and the concentration of power in the hands of biotechnology companies. Proponents argue that GMOs have the potential to address food security issues, reduce the need for harmful pesticides, and create crops with enhanced nutritional value. It's important to note that regulations and labeling requirements for GMOs vary by country, and consumers may choose to seek out non-GMO or organic products if they have concerns about genetically modified organisms in their food. Scientists identify specific traits or characteristics they want to introduce or modify in the organism. These traits can be related to resistance to pests, tolerance to herbicides, improved nutritional content, or other desirable features. The next step is to identify and isolate the genes responsible for the desired traits. These genes may come from other organisms, including different species or even unrelated organisms. Scientists use specialized techniques to insert the isolated genes into the DNA of the target organism. This process can be done using various methods, such as gene guns, plasmid vectors, or viral vectors. Once the foreign genes are inserted, they become part of the organism's genome. The inserted genes are integrated into the host organism's DNA, and the organism begins to express the desired traits coded by these genes. This results in the development of a genetically modified organism with the desired characteristics. Most countries have regulatory agencies responsible for assessing the safety of GMOs for human health and the environment. These agencies evaluate the potential risks and benefits of GMOs before they can be approved for commercial cultivation or consumption. There are several common myths and misconceptions about GMOs, genetically modified organisms. It's important to address these myths with scientifically accurate information to promote a better understanding of this complex topic. One of the most widespread myths is that GMOs are unsafe for human consumption. In reality, GMOs undergo extensive safety testing before they are approved for commercial use. Numerous scientific studies have found that GMOs approved for consumption are as safe to eat as their non-GMO counterparts. There's a misconception that GMOs are responsible for various health issues, including allergies and chronic diseases. Scientific consensus, supported by organizations like the World Health Organization, WHO, and the American Medical Association, has found no evidence linking GMO consumption to adverse health effects when properly regulated and tested. Some people believe that GMOs are not subject to adequate regulation. In reality, most countries have stringent regulatory processes in place to assess the safety of GMOs for human health and the environment before they are approved for cultivation or consumption. The real-world impact of GMOs, genetically modified organisms, is a complex and multifaceted issue that has both positive and negative aspects. GMOs have been engineered to resist pests and diseases, tolerate herbicides, and improve crop resilience to environmental conditions. This has led to increased crop yields in some cases, which can help address food shortages and improve food security. Certain GMO crops, such as insect-resistant varieties, have allowed farmers to use fewer chemical pesticides. This can reduce the environmental impact of agriculture and minimize potential harm to non-target organisms. GMOs have been used to enhance the nutritional content of certain crops. For example, biofortified GMOs have been developed to increase the levels of essential nutrients like vitamin A in crops like rice, golden rice. While genetically modified organisms, GMOs, have their proponents and benefits, there are also concerns and potential harms associated with their use. It's important to note that the degree of harm can vary depending on the specific GMO and its application. GMO crops can crossbreed with non-GMO or wild relatives, potentially leading to the spread of modified genes in the environment. This can impact biodiversity and raise concerns about the unintended consequences of genetic modification. Some GMO crops are engineered to resist specific pests, which can lead to the development of pesticide-resistant pests over time. This may result in increased pesticide use or the need for more potent pesticides. GMOs can have unintended effects on non-target organisms in ecosystems, including beneficial insects and soil microorganisms. There are concerns that new proteins introduced into GMOs might trigger allergic reactions in some individuals. Rigorous testing is required to identify and mitigate this risk. GMOs are a relatively recent development, and their long-term effects on human health are still being studied. Critics argue that we may not fully understand the consequences of consuming GMOs over extended periods. Some biotechnology companies patent GMO seeds, leading to concerns about monopolization and limited access for smaller farmers. This can potentially impact agricultural diversity and farmer autonomy. A concentration of power in the biotechnology industry can limit competition and influence seed prices, potentially disadvantaging small-scale farmers. Some individuals and groups have ethical concerns about manipulating the genetic makeup of living organisms, viewing it as unnatural or playing God. Questions about who owns the genetic information and the consequences of altering the genetic code raise ethical and philosophical questions. Not all GMOs prove to be economically viable for farmers. The upfront costs of purchasing GMO seeds and potential licensing fees may not always translate into increased yields or profits, especially for small-scale farmers. The widespread adoption of a limited number of GMO crop varieties can contribute to a reduction in agricultural biodiversity, which can make the food system more vulnerable to pests, diseases, and changing environmental conditions. It's important to emphasize that the specific harms associated with GMOs can vary, depending on factors such as the type of modification, the crop in question, and the management practices employed. To address these concerns, regulatory agencies in many countries require rigorous safety assessments and monitoring of GMOs before they are approved for commercial use. Scientific research and ongoing monitoring are critical to better understand and manage any potential risks associated with GMOs. But it's not all black and white. GMOs have a significant impact on our world. GMOs can help combat hunger by increasing crop yields, especially in areas with challenging growing conditions. Ethical concerns. Some worry about corporate control over seeds and the potential loss of biodiversity. As we wrap up today's discussion, remember that GMOs are a complex issue with both benefits and concerns. It's crucial to stay informed and engage in conversations about their regulation and usage. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. What are your thoughts on GMOs? Have you had any experiences with them? And of course, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for joining us today on this GMO journey. If you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe and join our amazing community. Until next time.